Over the coming days, we'll be meeting stakeholders, including government representatives, political parties, security agencies, civil society groups, citizen and international observer groups, diplomats, and the media. From the 21st of August, we will deploy our observers across various parts of Zimbabwe to observe the voting, counting, and results management process, as well as meet with other stakeholders in respective locations. On election day, we'll observe the opening, voting, closing, counting, and results processes. We'll issue an interim statement on our preliminary findings on the 25th of August before members of the group depart Zimbabwe on the 29th of August. Ladies and gentlemen, a final report will then be prepared and submitted to the Commonwealth Secretary General and subsequently shared with relevant stakeholders and made publicly available. Friends and colleagues, it's my hope that our presence here in Zimbabwe affirms the unwavering support of the Commonwealth to this country and its democratic processes. We call on all political parties and their supporters to uphold standards for credible, inclusive, and transparent elections, and we encourage all citizens to play their part by ensuring that a peaceful and credible process takes place next Wednesday. I'd like to thank you very, very much for your presence here, and I'll probably just read out the names of the observers. So my name is Amina Mohammed. I am the chairperson of the Commonwealth Observer Group. We have with us Honorable Philip McMurdo. He's a barrister and former judge of the Supreme Court of Queensland in Australia. Honorable Pelonomi Venson, who I am sure you probably know, the former Minister of Foreign Affairs of Botswana and journalist. Lomsebo Dlamini, gender and human rights expert. I'm still learning how to pronounce the name, from Eswatini. His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Ibn Shambas, former UN Special Representative for the Secretary General for West Africa and the Sahel from Ghana. Professor Trivedi, Commonwealth Special Envoy for SDG Implementation, Professor at Management Development Institute of India. Dr. Nasim Zaidi is the former Chief Election Commissioner of India. Ambassador Alyun Ndombata Samba, former Jamaica High Commissioner to the UK and former politician in Jamaica. Ms. Patterson is journalist and former editor-in-chief of the Gleaner in Jamaica. Dr. Samuel Ole Amse, President of Association for Local Authorities in Namibia and former Mayor of Ujo in Namibia. Ambassador Julius Peter Moto is former Uganda High Commissioner to the UK. He's from Uganda. Baroness Denise Patricia Kingsmill is member of the House of Lords, Labour peer, United Kingdom. Brian Hunter Spears, past president, Commonwealth Lawyers Association, UK. Criticals Patrick Mshindano is the former chief elections officer at the Electoral Commission of Zambia. And you can see, as I said, there's a group that has experience, expertise across section of the areas that are relevant to the conduct of elections. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Chair. I would now like to invite questions from the media. If you could state who you are and what media house you belong to, and then we will direct our questions accordingly. Thank you. Are there any questions? Sir, at the back.
How important is this mission when you take into consideration the ongoing process of seeking the addition?
Well, I think that this indicates our continuous support for democratic processes in Zimbabwe. I think you all know that we've been engaging the government of Zimbabwe and all the stakeholders that have either expressed interest in talking to us or that we have met. When we came to Zimbabwe, we've had 3 missions from the Commonwealth that has come to Zimbabwe to have those discussions. I think that there's an interest on both parts, on the part of the government and people of Zimbabwe, and on the part of the Commonwealth that Zimbabwe rejoins the family of the Commonwealth. But I think the two processes are not linked. They are separate processes. We are here at the invitation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade to witness the elections, to observe the elections in Zimbabwe. The other process will continue as it has been doing. Thank you.
Yeah, first-time freelance journalist. I just wanted to check if there is anything of concern that you have picked so far, either through the press or anyone else that you would like to share with us.
Well, we've started our conversations and we haven't finished them. So I think it will be premature to make any comments right now. You will obviously see our observations. You will see our recommendations in the preliminary report that we will release on the 25th. But as you know, we will be meeting, and as I indicated, we'll be meeting a cross-section of stakeholders from the government of Zimbabwe, representatives, to political parties, to the media, to different organizations, civil society organizations, and so forth and so on. And so from those conversations, obviously, we'll understand what the concerns, especially of the citizens of Zimbabwe, are. And in accordance with that, we'll monitor the elections and provide recommendations at the end of the exercise.
Thomas Matuku, freelance. Do you think we have enough time to get the information on the pre-election environment that you came just a few days before the elections? Do you think we will be able to measure the level of fairness in the pre-environment pre-election?
Well, we're here now. Our team arrived around the 15th of this month. They have already been, moving around, the city. We are talking to stakeholders, as I said. We're meeting with other observers as well. We will deploy on the 21st, and between now and the 21st, we'll be having these conversations that I referred to with different members of the Zimbabwean nation, and I think that we have adequate time. We have obviously a very good group of experienced observers. And I think that we will have the time that we need to observe and to make the recommendations that are required moving forward.
What you're headed to this question is, do we have enough personnel to deploy in all the country's 210 constituencies in order to get a full appreciation of what's happening?
I think the intention that we have is not to deploy across the whole continent. And the whole country, sorry. It is to make sure that the quality that we have is reflected in the manner in which we monitor the elections. And so we will be deploying again on the 21st of this month. We'll deploy in the areas that we feel we need to deploy. In the other areas, we will be having conversations with the other observers that are here already. And that will be observing across the country. But I think that the quality of our recommendations, the quality of the observer mission speaks for itself. Any other questions?
Sorry, my name is Kodzai Nawashe. I'm a freelance journalist. I wanted to seek clarity. You mentioned this process is separate from the re-engagement process. But the outcomes of this process, will they influence whether we join Commonwealth or not?
Well, it's not the first time we're here. We're here in 2018 as well.
Pardon?
We're here in 2018 as well and observed the elections then and issued a report and recommendations. So we will do exactly the same thing this time around. We actually hope that Zimbabwe's re-entry into the Commonwealth will not be long in coming. As I said, we've had 3 missions here. We have engaged quite successfully with all parts of the Zimbabwean society. And so we're looking forward to when Zimbabwe rejoins the Commonwealth. But again, the two processes are separate. They are not linked. We had the invitation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, and we will do what we do in all countries that we observe elections in. I'll also tell you that this is not the first country where we're observing elections that left the Commonwealth and rejoined later. I think a good example is Maldives, where we observed the elections in 2019. They left in 2016. We observed the elections in 2019. By 2020, they were back in the family of the Commonwealth. So it's not the first time, and we're looking forward to the day when Zimbabwe rejoins the Commonwealth. Again, our motto is to make sure that we are independent, we are objective, we are impartial, and we're neutral.
Sure, most likely. So, are you able to share with us perhaps 3 or 2 key highlights of your recommendations from 2018 after your observations?
We can do that, but I would really like to focus on these elections and the business that we are here to conduct. I think that when we issue a preliminary report on the 25th of this month, I will be able also to answer that question. The recommendations that we made then and what we feel about them. But right now, I think we want to just focus on the mission that is at hand, on the mandate that we have.
And if I could just add to that, I'd be happy to share a copy of the report with you afterwards, the 2018 report.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Would that be okay? That we share the report with you?
Yeah, I meant the 2018.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll provide that report.
Okay.
Any other questions? Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Actually, yes, there's a comment here that the gender representation is quite. It's negative. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well done, Chair.